Full Practice Clinical Training Guide. Today we're going to be covering off the clinical side of things. So all of the DAs, all of the dentists, hygienists. This one is for you guys. And basically it's just going to take you through the patient workflow. You know, when you're doing all your charting, doing all your treatment planning, it's approximately going to take about 30 minutes to cover. But here are the things that we'll be going through. So things like your charting, your perio charting, how do you do your treatment planning, how do you add sterilization tracking, how do you do your letters, and then finally, how do you operate your x-rays and your imaging. So I'll be taking you guys through that for today. I'm just going to quickly change my screen and show you something else. So give me 1 second. And here you go. So this is what it looks like when you log into Core Practice. As a dentist, as a hygienist, or whoever, you'll be going to your appointment book first. Okay, just make sure that you guys are on the right view. So at the moment, you can see I'm on a book view, which shows me my calendar. You can toggle between any of the other dentists or hygienists that you have. You can even use the location view if that's something that you prefer to use. And always just make sure that you're on the right date as well. So you can see right now I'm in South Bank Dental, and I'll be going through this particular appointment here. So with Warren Yap. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's just say we brought the patient in so we can check them in to say that they're in the chair with us. And then now that's your cue to go to the patient's profile if you haven't already, to check all of their details to make sure everything in there is correct. Just to show you somebody else who's got maybe a little bit more data in there so you guys can visualize what it looks like, and I'll come back to this one. So this is what the patient's file will look like. At the very bottom, you'll see an activity section. This is where all of your latest treatment notes or any comments that your staff have made, your team members have made, and will be in part of their file. So you can just go through it. It's all going to be timestamped. You will also be able to see which dentist or hygienist worked on that patient and did these treatment notes. Okay, you will also be able to see the day or the date that they were created. Okay, so you'll be able to see all those details. If you just want to see particular parts, like say, for example, their changes in medical history, you can easily click on medical history just to check them as well. If you ever need to make any quick adjustments, you can go into these little tabs in here to change their contact details, add them into a family, change their medical history, and you can use any of these little drop-down boxes over here to add more in. You can also add a health fund as well. But if you want to understand a little bit more about the patient profile, I'd recommend using the front desk training video. You will be able to see a lot more information about how to navigate through the patient profile. So have a look at that one if you've got some time. But let's just say we went back to our appointment book and we're going to get started with the other Warren Yap that we were working on. So this guy over here, 14th of February 2002 is date of birth. So we'll go to his profile. And then let's just go ahead and get started with all the little treatments that we're going to do. So we'll start off at the very left-hand side here. So just make sure that you're on the right patient profile. Then you'll have access to a whole bunch of things over here. And we'll just start from the top and make our way down. So we've got our charting, our perio chart, our treatment plan. And then we've got the little treatment box, which is where you'll do all your billing. And that's part of the front desk training as well, where all of your invoices, your claim data, and your payment data will go as well. And I'll be showing you how to do all your letters, do attachments, as well as operate all of your different media integrations. So let's start off with charting here. You can see there's always going to be a guide here for you on the very right-hand side. So first of all, we need to create a plan. So let's go ahead here, click on the big green button, or you can click on the little blue button over here at the left-hand side. So let's just use the big green button for now. Make sure you're in the right location with the right provider. It'll always automatically route to the right one based on the appointment book. However, you can still change it if you really need to. You can also give your treatment plan a name. We do suggest that you do give it a name, just so for reporting purposes later on, you'll know exactly what it's for, rather than just for plan 1, plan 2, plan 3. So I'll just go with plan 1, plan 2, plan 3 for now, and I'll show you what I mean. If you're also creating new plans after you've already created a plan for a patient, you can easily add or copy across any of those pre-existing conditions or missing teeth or completed or even incompleted treatments from other plans if you've got any. Okay, I don't have any for this patient for now, so that's fine. Let's just create the plan. And you can see there's only one more step. We need to make sure that we select a fund in order to start treatment. So, if they're CDBS or DVA, if you put the fund in, at least they'll be automatically routed to the correct fee level. All right. I won't add one in for today. We'll just keep it as private as a fee level here, and then we'll just submit it, start treatment. So now that you're on this page, you will see that at the very bottom, all of your x-rays will be here in the media section, as well as any attachments. So things like your correspondence or documents or whatever. And then treatments are where all of your proposed treatment items will go. Now, before you even begin charting, I guess one of the main things is you can also have a full deciduous chart if you'd like. You just click on more and then show deciduous chart, or we can just go back and show adult chart. And then away we go. So now we can actually start to putting our pre-existing conditions or, missing teeth, all that kind of stuff, or mixed dentition. You can do all that kind of stuff. So let's just say we're going to highlight the surfaces here and say those are composites. You could even use the top right-hand side if you're not too sure about what the surfaces correlate to which parts. So you can just select it on here. It's all interactive, and let's just say those are caries. If you want to do multiple missing teeth, you can select the surfaces as well and hit missing. If you select a tooth, you can only select one at a time. So you can see if I'm selecting these two, I can only select one. And if I hit missing, then obviously it's just going to be for the one. You can also restore the tooth in case you've made a mistake. You can also use this rubber part over here to delete the selected chart items, just like that. So we just got rid of the caries. But let's just go ahead. We'll put some caries back onto here. Maybe we've got some chips in the front. And then maybe we got some more amalgam here. And then maybe let's just put in like let's say an implant for this one as well. Then now that let's just say this is a pretty good representation of the patient's mouth. Or actually, we'll just add a mixed dentition in here just to show you that too. There you go. And now let's just say we're going to propose some treatment items. So we click on the little treatment tab, and then you will have access to all of your proposed treatment items. So I'm going to select the caries and these chip areas, and let's just say we're going to restore them with some composites. Okay, and now you can see it turns up here at the very bottom here for you. Yeah. Then all you need to do is, if you want to separate these out, you can easily drag and drop them like this. Just drag the item code and drag it down. Otherwise, let's just say we're going to do something a little bit more major, like a root canal treatment on the 2.6. So we select that tooth, we hit root canal, we choose how many roots, we'll go with 4. And you'll see that all the item codes that pop up here for you, just to make sure, you can unselect some of them if you don't need them. But once you hit submit, and I'll expand this for you, you'll see that it's all been separated out into visits for you. So same thing, if you need to customize those visits, just drag and drop it down, create another visit. Then you can easily, let's just say, for example, if you want to create a visit at the very top, it'll be a little bit different. You can't drag it up and make a new one. You'll have to click on the 3 dots here and insert an empty visit. And then that's when you can drag it up to the top. So let's just grab those fillings here and bring it up to visit number 1. So now you can name all these visits. So let's just say these ones are just for fillings. And we're going to allocate about 60 minutes for that for today. And then for the stage 1 RCT. And then we can do another timing estimate for this as well. Now that we've got it in here and we know exactly what we're going to propose to the patient, that'll be your cue to see all of your plans on the left-hand side, and you will see a number of them over time. The best thing to do is click on the 3 dots and click on edit, and then that's when you can rename the plans. So let's just call this one root canal plus fillings. Add any notes in here. You can also put an expiry date. The only reason why you use the expiry date is you want to put a time limit on the actual quote or the estimate, just in case your prices change later on. So you can do that and just add any notes if you need to. But now I'll just hit update plan, and now you can see it's changed to RCT plus fillings. If you ever need to present this back to the patient, and I'm sure you will, you can download it for them. You can print it out for them. You can SMS it or email it. If you SMS or email, you can change or customize the SMS and email template that gets sent out. And we just include it as a PDF link for the patient so they can pull it up on their phone. So you can use it that way if you'd like. Now, while we've got this treatment plan in front of us, it is also an area where the dentist or the DAs can, or hygienist, sorry, can also put in treatment notes. So you will see this little speech bubble in here in a few different areas for today. So this is just one of the 3 or 4 that you can put it in. So we'll just click on the speech bubble here. We'll select the template that we want to use. So we use the filling one. You will see that some of them are pre-filled. If you need to adjust or customize any of these treatment plans or treatment notes, sorry, you'll need to reach out to your administrator who has access to it, and then you'll be able to customize everything on here. You will also notice that some of them will have mandatory questions because you can't add a note in there. So if it's got an asterisk right next to it, that means it's a mandatory question. So we can go ahead here, just add some more things in here. You will also notice that some of them might have some logic inbuilt into them. So if I click on lidocaine here, you can see it pops up with more questions for you to use. So I might have used 2 cartridges for this. And once again, if you need to add more answers like articaine or anything like that, you can easily just go ahead and add it in. Just reach out to your nearest administrator. And then you just select all of the questions that have mandatory questions at least. And now you will see the green button pop up and you just hit add note. And that's your note done. So you just hit close and you'll see that right next to this item code now, it turns blue. That means that treatment note has been completed for that item or visit. Okay. So if you ever need to check the history of what has happened to that tooth, and especially when you start to complete them, you can easily select the tooth there and hit on history, and then you'll be able to get a historical log of what has happened to that tooth in terms of all the conditions that have been set. So as an example now, you can see with the 221, if I complete any of these item codes, and you can click on the cog here to complete the item codes, just like that, you'll see that it turns yellow over here to let you know that it's been completed. You can also complete the whole visit as well, just to cut down on time if you prefer that. So complete all treatments there. And now you can see it's all green. All right. So before I move on into showing you what it will look like in a bit of the billing stage, I'll go through the rest of the treatment plan. So you can see charting in here, right on the very left hand side. We're going to go to plan now, which is the little checklist icon. So if you click on that, you will see now that the chart is no longer there. However, you will have the plan in there that we were working on initially. And the right-hand side would have changed for you. So now you have the most commonly used item codes. You will also have a little search bar where you can search up any item codes that you've got. So say, for example, if you want cusp, you can type in a name and it will try to pull up all of the item codes for you that are related to that naming convention. You can also save all of your own templates into what we call an operation. So you can save whatever you want in there, save it as a test. So let's just do that today. Let's just say this root canal plus fillings treatment plan is something that we can use again and again. We can click on the 3 dots, save it as an operation. And then maybe let's just call this one a test operation. Code on it, and then create that operation. And there you go. You'll see that it turns up at the very end there, a test operation. So then if I want to create another plan like it again, we can easily go back here, create a new plan. We can copy across the older plan that we already had. So like all those pre-existing conditions and all of that. And then we just hit generate plan, select that plan, and you can see there's nothing in there right now. And we can easily hit apply and generate that plan once again, just like that. And then you'll have to put in the tooth numbers there. Once again, I'll show you again. We'll do create plan. And then maybe let's do something a little bit different. So we select the plan again, and then we'll hit plastic aligners, hit apply, and then generate plan. So we do all 12 visits. And there you go. You will also see that you've got the speech bubble in here as well if you ever need to add your treatment notes. Otherwise, the unique part about the planning stage is it's the only place where you can create a quote. So you click on more and click on create quote and just follow the steps. So just click on the high caps button, swipe the patient's card, and then you'll get the benefit back or the rebate as an estimate for that patient. Click back for now. So that's the treatment planning stage. Now I'll move more into the perio charting. If you don't really do a lot of perio charting, you can skip over it. That's fine. This should only take about 2 to 3 minutes. So you can see once again, we've got the perio chart guide. It's asking us to create perio. You've got 2 exam inputs, CPITN and PSR. Choose the one that you like or use the most. And we'll go with CPITN. And what you'll see is both the charts are linked up together. So all of the missing teeth and any sort of like implants that you've got in there will turn up. and we are measuring all of the major areas. So like your pocket depth, your recession, bleeding, suppuration, plaque, mobility, and furcation. And then as we're going through this, you can see that I'm going from 1, 2, 3 or whatever it is, and it'll go up to a maximum of 9 for now. If you need to measure, if you've got a measurement above that, then we can still enable a manual way for you to enter anything above 9. So the way to do that is you click on more and click on manual, and then that's when you'll be able to input double-digit numbers like that. And then you'll just have to hit enter to go to the next field. All right. So now that you've got that in here, you can still log missing teeth and implants from here if you really need to. So you can say, for example, here, hit missing, or we select the 2.6, and let's just say there's an implant on there. Okay. And then what you'll see is on the right-hand side, instead of you having to do all the calculations yourself, we'll do it for you. So your mean probing depth, percentage of plaque, and percentage of bleeding will be here. And then once you've ready and you've already done all your measurements, just hit the little summary button, and then it will find all your slights, your moderates, and severes for you, especially as any of the index percentages, as well as any classes and that kind of stuff for mobility and furcation. Then you just log your CPITN values like how you normally would. And then you just add in any notes that you might find in here. So whatever you need to. Beware of 12. And just add it in. If you have any x-rays for the patient, they will be found here at the very bottom right. And then you've got a drop-down menu here where you'll be able to go between the different charts that you might have. And even when you create a new chart with us, it will ask you if you want to copy across any of the older data, and just bring it across if you need to. So you can see I'll just do it again. And now you can see I've got 2. One's an initial and the other one's the reevaluation that you can go through. And since it's all cloud-based, you can always have a duplicate window and just have multiple charts open at the same time. So if you've got a relatively big screen, you can have them half and go through it that way. Awesome. All right. So back to our treatment plan. We were going to go ahead with the root canal and fillings here. You can see it's progress, and we completed 2 of the treatments that we did earlier. So the 2 fillings. So just to make sure that you've done all the right stuff, you're going to head over to the briefcase, which is where all the billing will occur. Okay, and you can see in here, we've got a 532 and a 522, but perhaps maybe we actually did an x-ray as well, but we forgot to put that in. So how do you add that in? Follow the guide here on the right-hand side, select the fund to ensure we're offering the right fee level. We don't have one for this patient, that's fine. We hit submit and start treatment. And now you can add in whatever item code that you want. So you can see I've got my 022 in here, and there you go. It's asking you to use it from a treatment plan just to keep things together. You can add it in. And now what you'll notice on the very bottom right, if you want to make sure that we always want to make sure that nobody's doing the billing while you're adding in all of the item codes. So technically this page is locked off while you're adding these item codes from this screen. So in order for this to be live and for the front desk team to bill without having a locked account, you need to click on done here. Okay, and you do have a choice to add a recall in here, but we don't have to worry about this for now if you're using the automated marketing feature that we have. So we can just close that off for now. And now you can see there's you can create a prepayment, create an invoice, but that is for the front desk training, and you can check out that video as well. All right. Now that we've got this flow in place, you might also need to create letters or attachments and media. So we'll leave that to the very end here, which is now. So if you need to create a letter for the patient, just click on letter, and then you can click on the green button here to create a letter. If you just need to send it to the patient, then you don't need to choose a send to contact. The only time when you need to choose a send to contact is if you're doing a referral letter, or you need to include another sort of contact in case whatever it is. So, especially if you're dealing with a like a pediatric dentistry or something like that, and you want to send it out to the mother and father, you can keep them as a contact if you'd like to. Otherwise, just for today's purposes, we're just going to do a medical certificate. So we continue to template. We choose the template that we want. Use this template, and you can see that it's automatically generated for you. So you can always go in here and just change it as you need to. So say, for example, here, all right, so 14th the 5th, 2021 until 25. 2021. And you can customize it however you'd like to. You can always print it off as well if you want to have a copy of that and sign for it if you'd like to. Otherwise, you can also email it to the patient as a copy. And you will see that there is another button underneath here to send it out to the contact if you selected one. Otherwise, you can also download it and attach it to an email if you'd really like to. You'll have to use another emailing system to do that. Otherwise, hit save and then exit, and then you'll always have that copy there ready to go. Now, if you receive any sort of attachments or sort of like PDFs or anything like that, you can easily go into here and just attach anything to the patient's file. So if you scanned any medical histories or any older documents, you can always just drag and drop those files in or click on the browse button to find that file within your computer and just give it a name, whack it into the right folder, and away you go. All right. Final piece of the puzzle. We've got our media button in here, which will give you access to all of the integrations that we are going to do for you guys. So the way to start it off is you will see on the very right-hand side, there is no bridge for you currently. So if you currently don't have one, please get in touch with our support team and then we will get the integrations underway for you. However, this is how you're going to use your integrations. So you see the three dots here? You will be able to see multiple bridges underneath here if you've got any. Let me just show you another patient file of mine, which will have it. So click on media. And you can see here, I've got a bridge. So all of these bridges that you will see in here, and some of you might have a long list. So each of the bridges will just relate to a different room. So you might see surgery room 1, a stereo room, or reception room, or whatever it is. Just select the one that you're in, and then you will be able to click on any of the buttons on there to activate that integration. So if you're using a software like Sedexis or MyRay or anything like that, or Remexis, then you can easily just click on that button. It'll open up the software for you. It'll find that patient file. And if it can't find that patient file, it'll create it for you. And if you're using something like a VistaScan, or any sort of other phosphate plate scanners, you just click on the button, it'll open up the phosphate plate scanning area, you drop your film in, and then it'll acquire that image for you, and then that image will automatically populate into core practice for you, like here. And then you'll be able to pull up any of these images here as well. If you ever need to open up the image, you can always click on the play button to open it up and blow it up a little bit more. Otherwise, you can always click on the stethoscope and go straight to our imaging software. You can do 2x2s. You can do, top row and bottom row, side rows, and then you got a couple basic functions and some advanced features to change the brightness and the contrast and gamma. Then you can also change the vibrance and saturation and all that kind of stuff as well. If you ever need to put a name on it, you can always put a name on it. But yeah. Now, if you ever need to import any media, you can always drag and drop stuff in. So like, if you're coming from Sedexis or something, you need to export those images first, and then you can drag and drop those images directly into core practice. If you're using an intraoral camera, you can always click this take photo button, and it'll be directly linked with your webcam or your intraoral camera, and it'll just take photos for you, and then it'll automatically be populated to core practice for you. Okay. So that concludes the clinical training. I hope that has given you a bit of an idea of how it's going to look for that patient, especially after all of the treatment planning and putting it into the treatment box for your front desk team to do all the billing. All of that's going to be there for you guys. But once again, if you need any sort of further help, just replay this video. Otherwise, you do have access to the little help button at the very bottom left where it'll have access to everything that we've got. So for example, even like say, for example, you want to know how to chart. And you can see here, it pops up with the how to use chart feature. You've got step-by-step walkthroughs with images that'll walk you through it. Otherwise, just use my video. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me for my video. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.